Hey guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to bring you a video in honor of the upcoming semester, and it is going to be my 5 tips to survive and do well in nursing school. And these are just my 5 tips. 5 things that I found to be important in my success in my first 2 semesters, and 5 things that I'm going to be using in my next 2 semesters to be successful. So my first tip is probably one of the most important tips that I can give you, and it is do not procrastinate. If you procrastinate in nursing school, it takes like 0.2 seconds to get behind. If you sit a week and you don't do anything, you can get behind so fast and so easily that it's going to be really, really hard to catch up. When I was in school, I studied most days of the week. I really did. I studied at least a little bit every single day almost. So just don't procrastinate, don't get behind, just try to stay organized. Because if you sit for one evening and you're like, well, I don't want to do anything this evening, you can get behind and then it makes more work the next evening. So just do not procrastinate while you're in school. My second tip for you is something that I found really helpful, and I use this in my everyday life as well, not just for school. And it is to get a planner and write all of your assignments and all of your exams and everything down. Every time my professor would say something in class, I would bring out my planner, write it down, make sure that I wrote the day that it was due, all the information, and I even write during school. Not just during school, but I even write my personal life things that I have to do in my planner just because it helps me to organize and to see everything that needs to be done. And it also helps you to just see a timeline of when everything is due, when it needs to be done, so you know what you need to do first, where to start, because in nursing school it gets overwhelming. So if you kind of see a place where you need to start, it kind of helps you to be a little more motivated and not so overwhelmed. My third tip for you guys is this is something to make sure you do during class, and it's don't be afraid to ask questions. Anytime there's anything that you do not understand, do not be afraid to ask a question or verify and clarify with your professor, because 9 times out of 10, whatever you're learning is going to build on something else. And if you don't understand the basic concept, especially when you're going into fundamentals, you're not going to understand something later. So just don't be afraid to ask questions. And most of the time, somebody else is probably wondering the same thing and going to be glad that you asked. Most professors are really, really helpful, and they'll answer any question you have. And if you're afraid to ask in class, write it down and then go to them after class, because most professors have office hours, mine do. And, sometimes if they're trying to hurry through a lecture, I would write down the question and I would go to them after class or email them or something like that, just to verify and understand what I did not understand. So just please don't be afraid to ask questions, and always ask questions so that you can understand everything that you need to. My fourth tip for you guys, and I just think it just goes to say with just school in general, is just do not miss class. Do not miss class, because if you miss one day of class, it can put you behind, just like procrastinating. And if you miss class, you're gonna probably miss things. My professors always pointed out things that they thought were really important and really hounded on things that they thought were important during class. So if you go to class, you're going to know what the high points they're going to hit on, and that's going to help you on the exams. So just don't miss class. Always be on time, because I think that, my whole college career, I think I've missed one day of class. My whole college career, I've missed one day. So, I just think it's really important to be there, because if you're not there, you're not getting the information, and this information is hard to learn on your own. So just make sure you're there and you do not miss class. My last tip for you guys is something that's a little bit on a different side, and it is make sure you take time for yourself. You do have to study a lot in nursing school, and sometimes you do have to study every day. It just depends on how busy your week is. But make sure, maybe after you take that exam that evening, you take some time for yourself. You have to take care of yourself while you're in school, or you're not going to be able to do well. A lot of times if I had an exam the day after the exam that evening, I would take that evening off and just kind of be to myself, do something I wanted. I would do something I enjoy. I enjoy running, so I would take a run. I would, I'd sit and watch TV with my husband. I would catch up on a show, or just take an evening and just kind of chill, So because if you don't take any time off, you're going to become extra overwhelmed. So just make sure you take care of yourself and you take time for yourself during this stressful, event in your life. So those are just my 5 tips for you guys, and these are just things that I have found that have been helpful for me during my my journey through nursing school. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you all are enjoying preparing for your next semester if you're going in. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.